Good evening. We have tonight with us a remarkable spokesman from the Ministry of Petroleum and Oil and Minerals, that he would like to talk to you about the oil spill that happened in the Gulf. Please, I would like to introduce Prince Abdul'Aziz bin Salman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have tried to collect you the most updated information that we have gathered from various sources concerning the spill. Unfortunately, I will have to be again disappointing with regard to the information we've gathered. It is still within the so-called military operation theater, and therefore it's almost prohibitive that civilians will be near the area to be able to capture a better picture of the realities of what is going on. It will take some time. If you can bear with us, we will definitely be as informative as we could ever be with regard to this spill. Considering the preliminary information, I will just go through a very small, hopefully short note we've put together here, and then I'll be ready to get your questions, and I will try my best to put together an answer, a ready answer. If not, I will definitely do my best to give you a continuous update of what we receive as we get it. First, and this is something that we all try to stress here because we feel that should be heard by everybody in this world, that the spill itself was deliberate action by the Iraqis. There is no way that the Iraqis could have thought that they could ever gain any strategical advantage over this spill, considering that they do have a lot of petroleum engineers, a lot of oil experts, that they will testify themselves that they cannot cause any harm to our oil operation, at least, or any other installation that the word is now rolling about saying that it could be effective. So I think it's an attack against the ecology of this wonderful Gulf, peaceful Gulf, as it was before the 2nd of August. With regard to the spill itself, the spill is flowing from a loading facility, which everybody knows now, which is Al Ahmadi oil terminal. Began Thursday night, and the slick had moved southeast under the influence of prevailing wind and currents. An airplane was dispatched today to take an aerial picture, but it was unable to do so because, unfortunately, again, because of the weather. The satellite picture were also not clear as we were hoping. The pilot of the airplane, however, had estimated that the slack itself was about 35 miles, stretching 35 miles long, starting from Al Ahmadi terminal, and with a width of about 10 miles. Based on primary estimates, the speed of the slack itself is about 15 to 20 miles per day. It is breaking into patches, with some burning still going in the near source. The volume of this spill is very large, but we still lack a good quantitative assessment, which would require measurements of aerial extent and measurement of oil thickness and at different points. There is a second spill in the area that originated from an oil tank at Khafji that were shelled by the Iraqi several days ago. The second spill is a smaller one that apparently accounts for early reports of beach and wildlife damage in the Saudi coastal strip south of Khafji. With regard to what we are trying to do, we're trying hard to activate all contingency plans that we have simulated across the various years when we had some smaller experiences during the Iran-Iraq war. And these were mainly targeted to prevent any sleeks that could come around our facilities when we had the tanker war. At that time, the sleeks were somewhat smaller than what we see today, and I think from this preliminary estimate, we are dealing with a dramatic, historically, I don't think I have ever heard of any sleek as big as that. If I am to try to quantify it, given the experience we have heard of in that Exxon Valdez, I think that in number, this will be something like 15 times as bigger than what we all had seen in that Valdez accident. However, disregarding the size, the catastrophic impact that this slack, or which I could call it now Saddam slack, because he was the cause of it, and he, I think, I don't think that there is a credit to be collected in that regard. In fact, all the blame should go to him and his colonies that are helping him to bring about these disastrous ideas to let the world see it. In fact, if there is any attack, it is just an attack that is committed to harmless creatures. It is not an attack against people that are ready to fight him. At any rate, the best way that we think that would eliminate the furtherness of this, or the eruption of a further larger sort of catastrophe, is basically to isolate the source and to prevent oil from entering the Gulf would be definitely the most important measure to be taken. Other measures to combat the spill are techniques that are known in the industry such as burning, containment, recovery chemical spraying for dispersal, or biodegradation. The Ministry of Petroleum and Minerals of Saudi Arabia, through Saudi Aramco, is willing to deploy all its resources and capabilities to combat the spill. The large stocks of booms have been installed at the important installation as a primary reaction to and it's more or less it's a preventive actions. It is not something that will definitely bring remedy to the disaster itself, but it's more or less preventive measures. Facilities that use seawater for cooling purposes or desalination sources have been already well protected and will therefore not be effective. 2 fixed-wing planes have been readied to spray dispersants if determined to be effective. This is basically chemicals. We are reviewing that. There is a technical group that are doing their best to come about with an assessment of the overall shape and size of the disaster, and subsequently they will elect a methodology to bring about, unfortunately, remedies, but then it will take some time to sort out this problem. I think it's a problem that we will live long with it. It will be a long-lived problem, but I'm sure that at the end of the day we will have to solve it, and we will, inshallah, solve it. A corporate oil spill contingency plan has been activated, and a response team is working on it, as I just reported. Expert from King Fahd University Petroleum and Minerals will run oil spill predictory models and are analyzing and will be analyzing oil samples to determine dispersant effectiveness. This is, of course, once we get the samples, but right now we haven't get it yet. Overall, we feel confident at this time that we will be able to emerge from this incident without any effect in our oil production, processing, or export facilities. We are also are confident in our protective measure at other kind of facilities, such as the desalination plants or the electricity generation utilities that would need water. With regard to the environment effect, however, we fear that the effect could be very serious, if not catastrophic. And with this, I conclude my statement. I will be ready to get your questions.